Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today with me I have the Wiim Amp Ultra, and I've reviewed the Wiim Ultra on my channel back in September 2024, and that is a streamer DAC preamp with a touchscreen that had amazing value for money. So this year Wiim released the Amp Ultra, this one here, which is basically the Wiim Ultra with the amplification section built in. So let's get the best feature out of this unit out of the way, which is the price. The retail price for this is Singapore dollars 779 here in Singapore, and it packs a ton of features. Let me first show you the unboxing of this unit and then I'll list them out for you. Okay, today we'll be unboxing the Wiim Amp Ultra from Wiim. Okay, so this is the box that it comes in with. There are two boxes of accessories. So the first box has some cables and the banana plugs inside. Okay, first we have the Wiim remote. So this is made of aluminium and it has also the voice command. Okay. This is a small USB cable. This can be used to charge the remote using the USB-C connection. Okay, this is the connectors for the banana plugs. So with this, you can use bare wire connections or a spade connector, so you can connect this and then it goes to the banana plug connector at the back of the Wiim. Okay. And this is your power cable. This is a standard power cable. Okay, for the next box we have the signal cables. Okay, this is the RCA cable. This is a HDMI cable. So you can use this to connect HDMI ER to your television. The last one is the optical cable. So some of the TV connections are using the optical cable. You can connect this to the Wiim as well. Okay, so now let's come to the Wiim. This is how it looks. Okay, so let me open this. This is how the unit looks like. You can see the size. This is about 8 inches by 8 inches, and this is about 3 inches high. You can see the knob and the screen here. Alright, okay, so that's the unboxing. I'll do the feature comparison. So firstly, it is a streamer, so you can stream your usual services like Spotify, Tidal, Qobuz, Amazon, and it's room ready, but it doesn't have Apple Music or Apple AirPlay. So in the DAC section, it is the ESS 9039 Q2M Sabre DAC, and the built-in amplifier inside here is Class D, so it has 100 watts per channel into 8 ohms and 200 watts into 4 ohms. This power output is higher than the Wiim Amp Pro, which has 60 watts per channel into 8 ohms. So the Class D amp is the Texas Instruments TPA 3255 chip, and it has 6 op amps inside. So in the amplification section, there's the post-filter feedback technology, or PFFB. So it's the technology to overcome speaker load dependency. And I guess this is reflective of the doubling of the power output when the impedance is half. So which that is a good sign. 7. So the dimensions of this is 7.87 inches and 8.3 inches deep. And this is 3 inches wide. So this is slightly taller than the Wiim Ultra, just slightly different. So if you put it side by side, you can tell. Right? And the weight is 5.4 pounds or 2.45 kg. The front panel is 3.5 inches in size. And on the bottom section, I'll show you here, there's the heatsink, and there's no heatsink on the side here. So it's a very nice and sleek look, and there's no fan built into this. Okay, I'll show you now the inputs and outputs at the back of the unit. So the back of the unit, you can see from left to right. First, you have the optical Toslink input. Then you have the HDMI eARC. So this also receives Dolby Digital 5.1 format, which is some feature that not available in a lot of units. There's also USB if you want to connect the unit to an external DAC. Ethernet input, one pair of RCA inputs, one pair of banana speaker posts. So there's an adapter which you can use to connect bare wires or small spade connectors to your banana post. There's a subwoofer output, one subwoofer output, and the system supports up to 24-bit 192 kHz from platforms like Spotify, Amazon Music, and Tidal, right? So it also has capability to connect to Chromecast, Alexa cast, DLNA, things like that. Yeah. What it doesn't have, so it doesn't have phono inputs, and there is no preamp output. So you can't connect this to an external amplifier. So this is one of the limitations that you have. Okay. So in this unit, there are some other features which I'll quickly mention now. One of the very nice features of Wiim Amp Ultra and also the Ultra is the room correction. So it has built-in room correction, and this room correction EQ, you can do the measurement on manual, and it's independent for left and right channels. So you can adjust using graphic EQ, parametric EQ, and these are customizable for different sources. So and one very nice feature is you can actually adjust the target curve. There are some built-in target curves which you can use, and you can use a built-in system, and you can link it to an external mic, or you can use a phone. So that is a very useful feature. It has multi-room capability, so you can link up with other Wiim products using Wiim Home App, or you can also link with smart devices like Alexa or Google Home. So the remote control, it's a very nice remote control that's made of aluminum. So it looks very simple, but it's very user-friendly. There's the power button, the volume up and down, play, forward and back, and the mute button, input, and these are some of the presets which I can show you later on. And on the side, there's this voice recognition, so you can give commands to your smart devices. And on the bottom, there's a charging input, so there's a battery built in. You just use the USB connection to charge this unit. So I really like this remote. It's very nice, solid feel to it, and it's a Bluetooth type, so you can use this anywhere in your area. Okay. Alright, so you can also have this unit has a special feature called the home theater mode, so you can link this with your HDMI ARC and Dolby Digital and a few other devices from Wiim, and you can make like a home theater. Okay, and the subwoofer output that I mentioned has quite a number of features. You can do the high pass, low pass, adjust on the levels, and also do the phase correction, right? Okay, so how is the usage? My experience of using the Wiim. So it is really easy to use. You just need to download the Wiim Home App on your phone, and you can get it running in a few minutes. So the screen is very smooth, very responsive, So you can see here, it's very responsive. It's one thing you gotta note that not all the features can be accessed through the front screen and the remote. So if you want to access all the features, you got to go to the app. Okay, but the common features, things that you want to use most of the time, they are available on the screen. Okay. What else is there? So other than that, it has been bug free. I've been using it with the LAN connection, Wi-Fi, so I don't find any issues so far. The build quality is pretty good. I like the form factor. It's very compact. You put it on your room, on your desktop. Okay, what it doesn't have here as well, it doesn't have a headphone output. So some people like to put a desktop system with an optional to plug in headphones. So unfortunately, the headphone output is one that's lacking from this. But you can actually connect to your headphones using the Bluetooth feature, which I have been using as well. So use this to be your streamer, and then it's use Bluetooth transmit to your headphones, right? Okay, right now I'm going to talk about the Wiim Amp. So I already have the Wiim Amp app installed on my phone. So on the first thing, you can see the favorites. So on the top, you can see presets, so which I already put in some, but you can put in quite a number of presets to suit your convenience. And the bottom, you have the streaming service. So I put the title already here. So on the second screen, you can put browse. So on the top is the inputs, so the various inputs that are available from the unit. On the bottom section are the various streaming services. So there are plenty here. You can see, I'm sure whatever you need is over here, except those that I mentioned, they're not there. And on bottom, there's also the Alexa and Google Chrome. So this is the devices. So over here is where you put the settings. So on the top, I've pressed on the rename button, and this is the network settings. So you can see there's also an interesting feature called the alarm. So you can set the time, and you can set that the device turns on and play the music to your specific volume at the specific time. And there are other features as well. So this is the preset. So I've already put in 4, but there are many options available. So, and next we have, so the different settings are available as well. So you can see here. So there are plenty of features on the app. I won't be explaining all of them to you, but there are a lot of them that are available. So I'll highlight some of the cool ones. So this is the screen. So you can turn and off and on the screen. And next thing I can show you is there's automatic brightness adjustment, and you can do it manually as well over here on the toggle. Okay, so this is the interesting one. You can change the screen. The clock can be swapped, and you can also have the options of doing a custom screen. So I put the custom background, and there are also built-in options for the background. So you can actually select them, and this will play in the background during the standby mode. Okay, so I'll also feature, let me go back here. Oh wait, so there are different settings for the clock, where you want to position it on the screensaver. Okay, so let me see what is next. Oh yeah, so during the playback, there are different options available. You can see the different screen settings you want to choose during the playback. You can put the small cover art, you put the information on the song and the album, and or you want a simplified one. And of course, there's the VU meters. So there are different colors available. There's orange, there's blue, there's white. My favorite one is the white, so it's quite nice. And you can also make a very simple background if you prefer. Yeah. Okay, let's see. So this is for the screen. There are more functions, but I'll just go to the important ones. Yeah. So this one is for the subwoofer. So you can choose the level of the subwoofer output, the gain, you can call it. And then next you have the crossover frequency to your subwoofer. It can be adjusted as well. The phase, yeah, 0 and 180. Yeah, there's a function here called synchronize. So you can use this function to easily synchronize the timing between your subwoofer and your main speaker. So this is a very useful feature, and kudos to Wiim for putting this in. Let's see what else you have. You can also choose to select here, so you can have the full frequency range without any adjustment sent to your subwoofer. So all the adjustment is done on your subwoofer side. And then for the toggle below, it's for the full or bypass, high bypass to your main speakers. Okay, so this is the EQ feature. So you have options of graphic EQ, parametric EQ. So I'm going to show you how it works. You can adjust based on the different frequencies, the different adjustments for each of these frequencies. So you can see here. You can slide them up and down. Or you can do it manually here. What you need to do is you can slide it with the graph, or you can do it on the table. So if you already know exactly what frequency you want, you can key in the frequency, you can key in the gain, plus, minus, and the Q, which is basically how flat that spike is. Yeah, so I'm going to show you here. So you can see here, so you can make the adjustment, lots of adjustment that you can make, tune the unit to how you prefer, okay? Okay, this is the room correction function available in the Wiim. So it's relatively easy to use. There's a graphical guidance that you can use, okay? So from this, they will produce the frequency response of your room and the correction. Right? So very easy to use. Okay, these are some of the other features available. So some of the more detailed functions that are available are like you can adjust the delays to different settings. Each of the different settings can be adjusted separately. So these are very user-friendly and actually very powerful features that you have within the app. But do note that these detailed, more advanced settings are not available on the screen, so you must use the app. Okay, so many features you can see. I won't go through them all here today. So this is for the delay functions. So if you buy the Wiim, take time to try out all the settings. They are pretty safe. You can just adjust to your requirements, and the Wiim forum is also very helpful. So if you need any help, you can also contact the guys in the Wiim forum. There's a lot of sharing with other Wiim users. Okay, this is the adjustment for the knob. You can see the light that just adjusted there. You can also turn it off if you want. How long it takes to go to sleep mode, and also how bright the knob you want it to be. So again, go back to the settings. You can see what are all the features available here. Okay, then next is the you can do the search function. You can search for the tunes that you want, the music. Okay, and then you can see it's connected to my phone. You can see the interface is quite snappy from the phone. You click on it, immediately it will be reflected on the touchscreen on the player. Okay, so how does it sound? So I've connected this to my KEF Blade 2 Meta. They are full range tower speakers. The sensitivity is 86 decibels. And impedance is 4 ohms, so it's not actually an easy load to drive. But listening to the unit without the EQ, first thing I noticed that the Wiim sounds very powerful. Okay, you know, some amps, the moment you on it, you feel that it has power, you know, especially with tower speakers. So it sounds very powerful, it is very dynamic, and the bass is very punchy. So that is a good sign. So bass is really good, something which I noticed straight away. For the mid-range, it's a little bit projected forward, but voices are pretty clear, a little bit on the forward side. And it has overall quite a low noise floor. There's no hiss or noise, you can't hear things like that. But on the highs, I find that it's a little bit roll off. Depends on what you like. For me, I would rather have the system a little bit roll off on the highs rather than having harsh sounding treble. So the characteristic of this sound is a little bit roll off on the high. It's not as detailed as higher priced units that are many times more expensive. But for this price for the unit, really cannot complain about the sound quality that it produces. So I can think of use cases where you put it in your room using bookshelf speakers, or in your hall using a bookshelf or tower, or a bookshelf with a subwoofer. I think this will be a great unit to use for that situation. I find that it has a lot of power. It can drive a lot of speakers, and I don't think that there are many speakers you can drive unless your speakers are having low sensitivity or low impedance as a combination, right? So overall, it has a very pleasing sound. And on top of that, you can actually use the EQ to tweak the sound to make adjustments to suit your preference in terms of the sound character. So that is one of the very useful thing that you have over here. So I can show you as well. So you can adjust. Okay, so this is the EQ. You can see you can adjust, or you can adjust on here, or you adjust the parametric EQ and graphic EQ in the app itself. Okay. So the other thing is there's some presets, so they're quite useful on this preset. So you can have up to 12 presets, and I've set some of them which I found them very useful, and you can also directly control them through the remote. So I've set one for morning listening, one for movie, one for music, things like that. One is for headphone mode. So I can actually easily press, and then the settings that are customized for each of these presets are accessed immediately, including things like volume, you know. So it can be very useful, make this unit even more user-friendly. Okay, overall, I want to feature some of the positives of this system. It is a very good all-in-one system packed with a lot of features, functionality, and good build for the price. Yeah, it is a very compact form factor. You can put most places. It's very discreet. It's dark gray. You can put it anywhere without calling attention or taking too much space. The amplification section is very good for the size, and it is good bass, good power. You can drive most of the speakers. The app, Wiim app, is really useful. It has a lot of features built in, including the EQ, multi-room subwoofers, things like that. It's very useful while not being too complicating in terms of the features. The remote is nice, and it's very easy to use, and I've been using this remote quite a lot. So on the negative side of it, I would say this unit has limited upgrade path. So if you buy this and you're thinking of upgrading, so most likely the upgrade path will be adding a subwoofer. You cannot add another amplifier. Okay, so you can only add a subwoofer. You can add a DAC. You can connect DAC to the USB, but likely the DAC cost will cost much more than this. So I don't think that's going to be a very likely option for that, because if you add a DAC, then you're going to add another amp as well. So that is going to cost much more than this. So most likely, I think the more logical way is to connect a subwoofer out, and then use the high pass filters to your main speakers, and the low pass will be to your subwoofer. So in a way, it will free up some of the amplifier to focus on the main speakers itself, right? So if you're planning to upgrade and get the bigger amplifiers and all, this is something we cannot do. There's no phono input, so if you want to use a turntable, you got to use the phono stage to link to the RCA into this. Okay, there's no Apple Music and there's no AirPlay. So if that is something very important for you, this unit doesn't have it. There's no headphone output, but like I explained, you can use Bluetooth to connect to your headphone output, but there's no direct headphone output. So for the sound characteristic, if you want to have very detailed sound output from your system, this does not produce that kind of high level detail that much more expensive systems are producing, but it is, I think for majority of people, this will be satisfactory. Okay, so you also need to make sure that your speakers are not super low sensitivity and impedance, but I find for most speakers there's no issue using this kind of amplifier. Okay, the other negative thing is not everything is available on the screen. Like I mentioned, you got to use the app for a lot of things. And one last niggle that I find using this Wiim is I actually cannot turn it off. There's no on-off switch anywhere, even, you know. So the only way to actually off it, you have to press the remote or you control it from the app. So from the unit itself, you can't actually turn this off other than removing the cable or turning off the mains power. So this is one of the very small things. And to conclude, what is my overall opinion on the Wiim Amp Ultra? I really like this combination. For the price, I say this is unbeatable. For something, let's say if your budget is up to 1,000 Singapore dollars, I think this is the one you should go for. Everything is inside, all the features are there. Other than those that I mentioned, they are not available. You can pair this up to a nice pair of bookshelf speakers, and you get a great start to your audiophile journey. Or you can put this as your secondary system in your office, in your bedroom, in the kitchen. You know, it doesn't take up much space. It can be put in a lot of places easily and doesn't have extra wires, things like that. You know, so you can use that to start as your secondary system. In a multi-room system, you can put this in your living room together with other Wiim products, and you have a Wiim system, part of the whole Wiim ecosystem. It is extremely user-friendly. It's not overwhelming, you know, especially if, let's say, my parents will ask me for a recommendation to an all-in-one streaming amplifier. This is what I'll recommend them to start with. Okay, so that concludes my video for today. So look out for my upcoming video where I'll be reviewing the Eversolo Play CD edition. I know many of you want to know how it compares to this unit, the Wiim Amp Ultra. So subscribe on my channel and be the first to be notified when that video comes out. Okay, see ya.